music press on BBC Two, What the Magazines Say.
This week, What the Magazines Say is presented by John Peel.
Hello. As a lad, I bought my music papers and magazines at the newsstand on Hamilton Square Station, Birkenhead. All that was on offer then was Melody Maker, New Musical Express, Jazz Monthly and Jazz Journal. Now, if the newsstand is still there, there'll be a bewildering range of music-related magazines, with new ones being launched all of the time. Hello September, Hello Icon, goodbye a very reasonable 99p. In Icon number 1, former NME thinker Paul Morley finally persuades REM's Michael Stipe to clear up his sexuality.
I'm not homosexual and I'm not heterosexual. I'm sexual.
But music is only one of Icon's concerns. With Mojo, it's everything. Why, hidden in their Mojo messages, they have surely Britain's only REO Speedwagon fanatic.
Gary, Northallerton, stuff wanted by REO fanatic, anything considered.
Mojo is one of the newest magazines. Its era is the 1970s. Its target audience, those who are either stuck there or those like
Beth Crew,
who decided the past was the place to be.
I'm 17, female, and an insane Queen and Beatles fan. I'd love to write to others worldwide.
Stand by for the blizzard of mail. Unlike Gary, you are not alone, Beth. Mojo also lists the 100 greatest LPs of all time. I won't spoil things by telling you what is at number 1. Yes, I will. It's
The Beach Boys' Pet Sounds.
a choice that links neatly, and doubtless coincidentally, with Mojo's major story on senior Beach Boy Brian Wilson. Brian's present status is neatly summed up.
I could make a better record than Pet Sounds, but right now I have to see my psychologist.
And part of the reason for this state of affairs is
The Stones had some great marijuana. I couldn't find the door. I said, play that again, and they said,
It is playing again, Brian.
and then I couldn't find the door.
in Mojo's 100 Greatest, the highest placed record less than 15 years old is at number 33. See if you can guess what it is. The magazine shows that it has the courage of its convictions by relegating
Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
a top 3 choice in most such lists to 51st place.
When the finally major triad cluster played on 3 pianos and multitrack 4 times struck, it sounded a death knell for pop's callow youth.
Did you know that? Readers of Q probably do. Q is usually identified as one of the successes of the magazine business, but it seems to be drifting away from the great seriousness and air of cultural infallibility that brought it early success. They have Courtney Love and her famous quote to the effect that
Rock is dick.
on the front cover. Courtney's musings are as ear-catching as ever, on Christianity and its founder, for example.
Calling yourself a Jewish messiah then was as popular as calling yourself a stylist or a rock journalist or being in a band. It really was the thing to do because they were really waiting for it. There was a new Jewish messiah every weekend, and in my opinion, one particular one caught on, and that's that.
These musings are matched by the insights of interviewer Paul Denoyer. Hole, Courtney's band,
Discuss acquaintances who have died of drugs with the stoic resignation you might find in a room full of lifeboatmen recalling colleagues claimed by the sea.
Courtney and Hole also loom large in Record Collector, a magazine for the serious record spook. Its readership a body principally of men, one imagines, amongst whom
Gary, Northallerton.
would feel quite at home.
Queen drummer Roger Taylor has always denied that he sang on record with his mid-60s band The Reaction, but the record exists to prove him wrong. Full details in Digging for Gold on page 132.
For a clue to Courtney Love's crazy like a fox behaviour, Peter Doggett provides clues in Record Collector. The girl christened Love Michelle Harrison in July 1960 complained that her parents
Always made me believe in reincarnation and all that stuff.
Over the next decade, she lived out multiple identities in a single lifetime. Love Harrison became Courtney Michelle Harrison by the end of the 60s, then her parents separated. Her mother remarried twice, and her surname became Rodriguez, then Mainley. The latter relationship took Courtney's mother and stepdad to New Zealand, while the child was raised in Eugene, Oregon by friends, calmed by a steady diet of Ritalin, a drug used to treat hyperactivity.
Back to Q, a magazine currently striving to straddle markets by such devices as talking to Britpop contenders Supergrass, and noting that their record collection is to be found amid
Discarded pizza boxes and, frankly, fungal bed linen in the defining defiantly 20-something domicile of Oxfordshire Supergrass.
They also noted with a satisfaction that would have been replicated and then some back at Mojo that their favourites include...
No record from the last 19 years, punk or otherwise.
Q also has a step-by-step guide to dance music, the modern equivalent of those glossaries once found in pulp books about rock and roll. One of my favourites...
Rock and Roll Gal.
Is billed on his front cover as opening the door on...
The sizzling world of real gone guys and dolls on dope.
Not much change there. Discover ambient.
Drums are frowned upon. Singing more so, unless it's in Arabic. In short, all the long bits of Dark Side of the Moon, only with more advanced effects.
So it's all right then. These real gone guys and gals on ecstasy are just updated Pink Floyd fans. Phew. And Jungle? What do you wear, for God's sake?
Blokes.
Crazy corduroy creations, gold teeth with your name in them, string vests.
Chicks.
Maroon satin biker, shorts, wonder bra, boots, firm hold for the barnet.
Then there's...
Euro cheese.
No, let's move on to Sun Zoom Spark, another reasonably new magazine, but one based in Galashiels rather than London. Sun Zoom Spark will inject into the argument the notion that pop rock can be fun and can be stupid. They too encounter Supergrass, but rather than exulting over the retro record collection, asked...
What's the most ridiculous thing you've been asked to autograph?
I did some girl's breast last night, actually.
It's Gaz.
Supergrass also make it into Select, a child of the 80s, but somewhat misleadingly touting its...
25th birthday special.
Turns out it's the 25th birthday not of Select, but of the Glastonbury Festival. Select majors on Ash.
Dark-haired and diminutive sixth-form prefect and singing guitarist Tim Wheeler just turned 18 and currently in the middle of his A-levels. Drummer Rick Rock Frock McMurray, 2 years older and a straight-A student at university.
So much for teen mayhem. Also in Select is Sean from the Moonflowers.
I came back and found my tent full of tampons, big lumps of turd, just blood everywhere, and an open Russell Grant astrology book.
Ugh. This is what the kids want. They also want Oasis and Blur, both featured in Select. With Blur, it's part 2 of a...
Complete history of Blur.
A track-by-track analysis of the work of...
The Brit Award-sweeping Cod Mod God Superstars.
Before checking out this for fanatics-only Blur checklist, I have a public apology to make. My son William tells me that, fueled by free lager, I was obnoxious to Damon out of Blur at the more recent Phoenix Festival. I'm really sorry, Damon. Anyway, there's more detail here than even...
Caddy, Northallerton.
...could possibly want if the subject was his beloved REO Speedwagon. For example, about the song Tracy Jacks, number 69 on the Select list, and songwriter Damon.
The first lines he thought of were...
He's a golfing fanatic, but he's partly erratic.
Soon he arrived at the ambiguous name of Tracy Jacks. He spelt it Tracy Jacks at the time. For the second verse, in which Jacks runs naked along the beach at Walton-on-the-Naze on the Essex coast, Damon took inspiration from the opening credits of the 70s BBC comedy series The Fall and Rise of Reginald Perrin.
They fascinate me, all those dead seaside towns on the East Coast.
Damon explains.
They have one guest house and it's boarded up. It's a couple of council estates, a few old houses and the bleak North Sea. There are places.
If you'll forgive me for some heavy-duty name-dropping, I was once with John Lennon when he sent someone out to get the music weeklies so that he could check the review of the new Beatles LP. I said, why do you bother with the reviews? Everyone's got to buy the record anyway.
Because?
John replied,
I want to find out what my songs are all about.
I like that. Today's Britpop fans presumably would not. And what about this?
Graham's now famous opening guitar chord is an E-shaped raised to the 13th fret for added tension and pitch, and it chimes out like an urchin bell over the song's daringly clattered first 15 seconds. The bass line, written by Damon, uses an interval of an augmented fifth, in which the standard interval of a fifth is increased by one semitone.
Yes, but can you snod to it? And what would...
Straight, mixed race female, 18.
Make of it? She's in the Select personal ad and seeks...
Deep, strange, adventurous troublemakers for gigs, etc. Into Supergrass, Green Day, Nirvana, Elastica, 60s, 70s, early 80s stuff. Geeks, welcome.
Would you consider an unsatisfactory and embarrassing relationship with a middle-aged man, I wonder? That...
Geeks, welcome.
Gives me some hope. Over at Select's natural rival Vox, we find more Glastonbury and a rather good cartoon by Ray Lowry.
There are reds under the bed and some greens, a couple of quaaludes, a handful of grass and what looks like acid.
Quite funny, but the list of drugs shows that Ray hasn't really moved with the times. No jellies, Ray. For their Glastonbury coverage, Vox, perhaps pitching themselves in the tricky terrain between Select and Q, have turned to Stuart Lee.
Self-proclaimed the UK's third funniest stand-up.
For an assessment of...
the sights, the sounds and, more pertinently, the smells.
Of the festival. Stuart has latched onto the fact that at something as vast and otherworldly as Glastonbury, the music is often of secondary, possibly tertiary importance. He goes to see the Boredoms.
They're amazing, as usual. Double drumming, weird oriental chord progressions, prog rock time changes, chanting, kung fu leaping, loads of brilliant shouting and a trumpet.
No E-shapes raised to the 13th fret, Stuart, nor E major triad clusters. For shame. Stuart also meets an old acquaintance, Crazy Ian of West Norwood.
Ian, who once attacked my friend's brother with a spoon, is an example of care in the community.
If any of the people who I think are going to attack me as I wander about London's colourful West End actually does attack me, I hope it's Ian.
Smash hits.
I've snogged a star.
Offers a free cutout and keeps Star's mask. These are a Batman, Pamela Anderson, Steve from Boyzone and Mark Owen. They also have a feature about Supergrass, surely one of only a handful of bands to make both Q and Smash Hits in the same month. It took me a while to find the Smash Hits piece on Supergrass amid all of the primary colours and demented layout, but there it is, billed for page 23.
New indie weirdos don't do the dishes, but they do dish the dirt.
Seems to me that one of the attractive things about Supergrass is that they're not weirdos. But turning to page 23, there it is.
Weirdos.
One of them smells, another slams doors, the third is a non-stop farter.
That's weird. Mickey says of Danny, the drummer,
Danny dribbles in his sleep. There's always huge lumps of saliva on his pillow.
my saliva tends to soak into the pillow rather than lie about in lumps. Perhaps it's Danny's saliva that's weird. Turning the page, it's the Smash Hits message board. This is serious teen stuff, too.
Julie in Bishopton. Tiger Tim, oh Tiger Tim, you love him, oh Tiger Tim, see ya.
And
Tina, it was me and Alison who put the wet loo paper in your cheese sandwich. Ha ha, from Sarah D.
and
Weefy, I think I love you. Love Anon.
actually, that could be a Guardian Valentine's Day message. These messages may convince you that the nation's young people are quite sane, even though most of them describe themselves as mad. But spare a thought for the young of Finland. In the Smash Hits letters is one from FF, from that mysterious land.
John Major is the most gorgeous man I know on this planet. I really like him. He's my one desire. I want to have his babies.
Surely Central Office can't have sung this low.
Big.
He's in competition with Smash Hits, but is, according to Florence, my 13-year-old,
Crap.
boasting
8 pages of the hottest star gossip.
and such treats as
Toby Ansters shows us his pants.
and
Brian Harvey.
Why I dumped Danny Oa.
don't worry, I don't know either. Big makes a bold bid for originality by not having, amongst all of the stuff about who is snogging who and who is no longer snogging who and who would probably like to snog who and why nobody wants to snog you, anything about Supergrass. I may have got this wrong, of course, but by the time I reached Jarvis Cocker and Damon from Blur on page 11,
If their next single isn't number one, I'll snog Sinbad from Brookie.
I realised that this was not for me and tiptoed silently away. Mind you, although there is less pop music in Smash Hits than there once was, you could argue that their interest only in here and now, most of their readers won't remember Bros or New Kids on the Block, don't forget, is a deal healthier than the obsession with the past shown in all of the other music magazines. These days even...
Kerrang!
Since the dawn of time, the mag to bring you hairy Americans with their mouths open, making up your ass signs at the camera, is hedging its bets. Why, they've even got a Courtney Love poster in this issue, alongside pieces about...
Pearl Jam.
The Wild Hearts.
Skunk and Nancy.
and...
Reef.
pieces which Kerrang presumably hopes will keep it ahead of its rival,
Raw.
Music with attitude every fortnight.
which throws down the gauntlet with articles about...
Pearl Jam.
The Wild Hearts.
Skunk and Nancy.
and...
Reef.
Vive la différence. These days I read all of these magazines and none of them. I skip through for reviews of the records I like myself to see whether their critics agree with me. Great critics. Or disagree. Crap critics. What I want is a magazine that has the attitude of the fanzines like...
Insight from Cambridge MA.
Head Trash from Great Sutton.
Bobbins from Stockport.
Here be monsters from Wheat Hampstead.
Words I might have ate from Nottingham.
and...
Fast Connection from Newcastle upon Tyne.
together with the resources of Q and Mojo. The fanzines are hugely prejudiced, wildly over-enthusiastic, no respecter of persons, and highly readable. Unfortunately, they, like the major publications, tend to concentrate on too narrow a range of bands and musicians. At the moment, I'm getting into, as we old hippies say, the long-established wire,
Adventures in modern music.
because it's full of people I've never heard of. Witness this review of Rudy Rucker and Roy Weldon's...
Like a passing river.
I was 16 when it first hit me. Someday you'll be dead.
That's the whole of the first track of this spoken word plus music album by sci-fi author, Mondo 2000 contributor and world-class mathematician Rudy Rucker. And I was around track 3 when it first hit me. This sucks.
All very well, but where does Rudy stand on snogging? On the other hand, Wire is the publication most likely to come up with an answer to the question raised in the lead article in the very first Melody Maker over 70 years ago.
Is there room for the banjo in the modern dance orchestra?
Perhaps Gary of North Allerton knows the answer to that. Goodbye.